Hi there, my name is Prophet Clement from Prosperity Unlimited Seminar here at Prophet Clement Academy, and I want to be able to take this opportunity especially to be able to appreciate you, especially for taking your time to be able to join us where this program is concerned. One thing that I know is that your life will never be the same again. I know many of you right now, you've been writing to me, and many of you right now have already received so many questions that you've been leaving on our webinars, and many of you, I want to be able to address some of the most important issues, and especially where your star is concerned. You see, I know right now you've been asking, man of God, what is it happening where my life is concerned? You see, every one of us, we have our star. You see, your star, actually, it is your destiny's DNA. It is your destiny's DNA. You see, the tragedy of life is that many stars destiny to shine. Many stars destiny to shine, they have been buried in the pit. Maybe you are there right now and you say, man of God, I want to think that there is something going around. Maybe you're there right now, you've been going through affliction, you've been going through stagnation, you've been going through poverty, you've been going through failure, you've been going through infirmity. I'm talking about you trying every way that you can, but keep finding yourself in the same pit. One thing that tells you that your star is in the pit. Maybe you are there right now. Maybe you find yourself, you are in the pit of non-achievement, or in the pit of obscurity. We're talking about, you see, when your star is in the pit, no one can be able to notice it. And that is why at the end of the day, no matter what you try, the best that you can do, but at the end of the day, instead of people celebrating and seeing the best in you, they keep fighting you and they keep frustrating you. Why? Because your star is in the pit. You need to understand, when your star is in the pit, it cannot be celebrated. When your star, you see, is in the pit, it cannot accomplish. It cannot accomplish. What do I mean here? When your star is in the pit, there is nothing more. There is nowhere you can go. No matter what you try to do, you keep finding yourself in the same position. And I can see there is something that you've been trying to get out from. You tried the best that you can, and this thing is costing you, it's frustrating you. Why? Because your star is in the pit. Every one of us, we have our stars. And one thing, when God created you, Jehovah God created you, he put all your destiny. He put all your destiny into where your star is concerned, and that is why you need to realize that Apostle Paul said that what we see is temporary, but what we don't see is permanent. And that is why it's an amazing thing when you look throughout the Bible. You see, the wise men, according to the book of Matthew chapter 2, they knew Jesus. When they saw the star, it told them everything about Jesus, and they followed that star, and that star led them exactly to where Jesus was. You see, your star can lead people to your life. Your star can attract people. You see, when people see your star, there are three things that they can do. Number one, they can either fight it, block it, terminate it, or maybe number two, they can either assist your star, or number three, they can actually ignore it. But most of the time, they will not ignore it. Most of the time, they're either going to assist it, or they are going to fight where your star is concerned. I know, and especially I know this is very confusing, something frustrating, and I know you're saying, but one thing, Prophet, I don't really understand. I have done no one no wrong, but at the end of the day, it looks as if my life is in the pit. It looks as if at the end of the day, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with my life. I know in my heart this is what I want to do, but sometimes I am not sure. Maybe your star is gone missing, because you see, your star will lead people to your life, and though it will lead people into your life, your star will lead situation where your life is concerned. And one thing, your star consists where your DNA is concerned. And I know you're there, and you're saying, who have I done wrong? Why do I have to suffer through this and this and this and this? One thing, the Bible tells us in the book of Genesis, Joseph, everything was fine. He had a normal dream. The first dream that which he had, actually he spoke to his brothers, and he told them that he had a night dream, and he saw the bundles of wheat, all the sheaves together, and they were all bowing down to him. Nobody said anything. But then he had another dream, and in that dream he said that he saw 11 stars plus the moon and the sun bowing down to him. The Bible begins to tell us, including his father, everybody became furious. And since that day, his brothers begin to look for a way to be able to kill him, to terminate him. And what did they do? They waited, and what did they do? They waited, and one day when he came over to inspect them, they took him, they wanted to kill him, they put him in the pit. And that is exactly what happened, because they saw his star. Because you see, they understood about where stars is concerned. And when they realized that they could not kill him, what do? They sent his star to exile. What do? They sold him as a slave to be forgotten completely where his life is concerned. And maybe you are there right now and you feel in your heart that you're not doing, you feel that your destiny is locked and it cannot be expressed. You feel that your destiny is locked and it cannot be expressed. Then it means that you're in a spiritual exile. Maybe you're there right now and I'm speaking to you. Maybe right now you find yourself, you're not doing what God created you to do. You're not happy with your life. That could be another reason. Maybe your star is in exile. Maybe you're there right now and you find yourself in the wrong place and you cannot truly fulfill God's plan and purpose where your life is concerned. Maybe you're there right now. Maybe there is sickness, there is infirmity, you have some disease, you have some infirmity that has bound you in hospital or at home, or maybe right now you have some things that are growing in your body, or things that you're not happy with where you're concerned, because you don't understand yourself. You are there, and maybe there are things that you don't understand about yourself. Maybe you don't understand why you are like this, why you're like that. Most of the people, sometimes especially, who they start doubting themselves, who are always hating themselves. Maybe you hate the way you look, maybe you hate the way you speak, you hate your voice, you hate maybe your shoulders, your head, your breasts, your legs, whatever it is. And that could be a sign that your star is missing, because you don't know why, for a reason. Why would God create you this way? You see, you need to understand is that the tragedy of life is that many stars that were destined to shine, they have been buried. They have been buried in the pit. They have been buried in the pit. You see, when your star is buried in the pit, you're there. Maybe you're in a pit of affliction. I'm talking about from one sickness to another. You're always going through situation, and you're asking yourself why. Maybe your star is in the pit. You are there right now. Maybe you are in stagnation. You're in the pit of stagnation. Your life is stagnating. Everybody else is moving on with life. Everybody else that you graduated with, everybody else that you went to school with, looks as if they are married. They're having children. They're having homes. They're having houses. They're having cars. But it looks as if at the end of the day, you are not moving where your life is concerned. That could be maybe your star is in the pit. Maybe you're there right now. Maybe you could have been maybe in the pit of poverty. You see, there are many stars that were destined to shine, but at the end of the day, they have been buried into the pit. You see, when your star is in the pit, when your star is buried in the pit of poverty, there's nothing. All your life is going to be poverty. It does not matter how much money you make. It does not matter what you do. I'm talking about how many jobs that you get. You keep finding yourself. You are inside that pit, especially for where poverty is concerned. You see, maybe you are there right now. You are in the pit. Your star is in the pit of failure. Maybe right now you are in the pit of infirmity, or in the pit of non-achievement. You see, when your star is in the pit, you always have failure, you always have non-achievements, you're in the pit of obscurity we're talking about here. At the end of the day, in your life, you just exist. That's all you are. Or you wake up, you just pay bills and bills. But at the end of the day, there is nothing much more, to do with where your life is concerned. And I can see what you're saying. And you're saying, one thing, it looks as if I'm not be able to fulfill. I am not fulfilling my life. I am not living a fulfilled life. It looks as if though, you see, when your star is in the pit, it looks as if, you can do many things. But at the end of the day, you feel that you have accomplished nothing. You have accomplished nothing. You see, a star in the pit is, listen to me, a star that is in the pit is always at the verge of destruction, are we talking about situation at the end of the day is just no respect at all where that is concerned. This year, one of the things I'll be able to share with you, this year actually is the 40th year we're talking about of the classical movie The Grease. In 1978, that musical movie made star of people like John Travolta and Olivia Newton, and these people ended up becoming A-rated stars. I'm talking about it. They ended up becoming A-rated stars. Among other people, there were people like Jeff Conway. We're talking about people. We're talking about people like Kelly Ward and many other people. But the tragedy of life here is people like John Conway, at the end of the day, he died at the age of 60 because of drug-related pneumonia. This was 2011. We're talking about somebody like Kelly Ward, who was known as Patsy or Putzi. As we speak right now, this man, this movie, we're talking about The Grease. This movie created what we call A-rated stars. We're talking about people like John Travolta. We're talking about people like Olivia Newton and other people. The reason why I'm so interested with it, because you see, when I was growing up, by the time, they did that movie came up, I was a couple of years old, but I never came across it until when I was in the early 90s, when I was in high school. And here I am, and I was the captain of the drama club in my school. And what did I do? When I came across, I watched once and I wanted to duplicate it, and I wanted to be able to act it over in high school. And as a result of it, we ended up somewhere. We're talking about in this movie, we tried to act it, but as a drama, as a musical drama. And we won a couple of trophies where it's concerned. So, but the tragedy of the matter here, somebody, for example, so I had to write all this. I'm talking about, I had to be able to write the scripts, especially for where the movie Grease was concerned. I had to be able to try and adjust few things, especially to be able to make sure that it was fitting our local environment where we were, and the high school where we are. And at the end of the day, so I used to know every actor, who and whatever it is, because we had to sit down and I had to be able to write all this down. But one thing about here is it was this movie, The Grease, the classical, I'm talking about music classical, that actually made A-rated star. We're talking about people like John Travolta. But we're talking about people like Patsy. He struggled to get another job. He struggled to find the acting jobs after that movie, and he ended up settling as a voice director. What is it? What happened to him? You see, somebody somewhere saw his star, and what did they do? His star went missing. When your star goes missing, once your star goes missing, you end up settling for something else that at the end of the day that you never wanted to be. And that is exactly what happened in the book of Matthew chapter 2. In the book of Matthew chapter 2, between Matthew chapter 2 verse 2 and Matthew chapter 2 verse 9, Jesus' star went missing. I'm talking about Jesus' star went missing. It went missing. The Bible tells us that Mary and Joseph and Mary, they went from one place to another in Bethlehem, trying to look for a place, for a lodge, for an accommodation, but they could not find anything. Look here now, this is so important. If your star goes missing, can you imagine, even when the star of Jesus went missing, it affected him. And at the end of the day, the time for him to be born had come. They had no choice but they had to settle for him to be born in a manger. We're talking about in a cow shed. Can you imagine a son of the living God? What kind of a disgrace is that for him to be born into the manger? Was that about humbleness? No, that has got no humbleness, because actually the scriptures tell us very well. We know where Jesus was to be born, in Bethlehem, but the Bible never talked about him being born in a manger. It never talked about him being born in a place of disgrace. No, actually the Bible talks about him being born, being the Prince of Peace. A child has been born, whose nations they are going to be under his shoulder. But what happened? That is exactly what happened. When your star goes missing, once your star goes missing, at the end of the day, you end up settling for nothing else but shame where that is concerned. When your star is missing, you end up in all wrong places. When your star is missing, maybe you're there right now, you've been finding yourself in wrong jobs, in wrong deals, you've been finding yourself doing wrong investment, and all you do is just lose. You know what that means? It means your star is gone missing. Maybe you're there right now and you've been ending up in all manner of relationship, from one to another, from one business to another, from one spiritual place to another, from one belief to another. You know one thing, that is because your star is missing. And you know one thing, there are things I want to be able just to share with you, 7 things that can actually affect where your star is concerned. There are 7 things that can affect your star. Number one of the things that can affect your star, if your star can be covered. If your star is covered, then no one can be able to notice you. Once your star is covered, you are there right now. When your star has been covered, no one will notice you. Once your star is covered, it can never shine again. I have seen people who have stayed in the same employment for many years, and you know one thing, no one will recognize them. No increase of salary, not even increase of any new equipment. Why? Because their star has been covered. Number 2, your star can go missing. Your star can go missing. When your star goes missing, once your star goes missing, you know one thing, you find yourself wandering from one place to another place, from one thing to another thing, from one career to another career, from one college to another college, from one course to another course, from one relationship to another relationship, from one marriage to another marriage, and at the end of the day, you end up settling for something that is so shameful, very shameful. Just exactly like what happened to Jesus when his star went missing in Bethlehem. In the book of Matthew chapter 2 to verse 2 to 9, by the time the time the star came back, it was already too late. Jesus had already been born, and he already been born into where the manger is concerned. Number 3, your star can go into exile. If your star goes to exile, at the end of the day, you need to understand that you find yourself in affliction, you find yourself in strange places, you find yourself actually being bound with sickness and diseases. That means you've been bound in hospital. You are always in hospital. You've been bound in bed. That is a sign to be able to let you know that your star is in exile. You see, when your star is in exile, it cannot be celebrated. When no matter what you do, how good it is, and nobody sees what you do, your star is in exile. Number four, remember, your star can be shut down. Your star can be shut down. You see, you need to understand where the star is concerned. Listen, your star, it does not mean because it's shining today, it does not mean it cannot be shut. I gave you the story about the movie where the Greece is concerned. Some of the stars that were there, that movie actually created A-rated stars, but some of other stars, at the end of the day, their life ended up in tragedy, though they shone once. For example, I shared with you one of the fellows there, his name was Patsy or Tootsie. He acted in that movie. That movie actually has become a phenomenon. That movie, and at the end of the day, he struggled finding jobs where acting is concerned, and he ended up settling as a voice director. Can you imagine starring in one of the best movies ever made in the world? Just finding himself settling up as a voice director. What happened to him? What really happened? That is exactly what happened when your star has been shut down. It's been shut down. Exactly what happened to Joseph. The Bible tells us about where maybe you are there right now and you wonder what's happened. And I see every time your star shines, somebody's always shooting it down. It gets shut down every time. It gets shut down every time. And people sometimes ask me, how many times can a star be shut down? A star can be shut down many times. We see with Joseph, number one, when he had a dream and he was his father's favorite. His father, because his star was shining, he was a favorite among all his brothers because his star was shining. His father actually even made him a nice jacket of many colors. But you know what happened? His brothers shot his star down. And what did they do when they shot the star down? They put him in the pit. And what did they do? And because they could not kill him, then what did they do? They sent his star to exile. When he was sent to exile, the Bible tells us that Joseph went and started working for Potiphar, and it started beginning to shine again. It began to shine again. Suddenly, he became the head servant. Suddenly, he was all over the place. He was making a big decision on behalf of a big person. But what happened? Potiphar's wife, she was jealousy and envy, and what did she do? She shot his star down. When she shot his star, at the end of the day, he was detained indefinitely, and then he began to rot. He was locked into prison immediately. And that's what I feel in my spirit. So you need to understand, when it comes to star, there is something you need to understand. It does not mean because your star is up, you're going to have to be very careful. You have to be very, very careful. Jesus' star was sent to exile. What do you do? What do you do when you come back from exile? What do you do when your star has been shot? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do when you find yourself? Because I see sometimes life can be like a roller coaster like this. Same thing with where Daniel was concerned. Daniel was a prime minister. The Bible begins to tell us that Daniel prospered in the book of Daniel chapter 6 verse 28. He prospers in the time of Darius and also in the time of Cyrus, the Persian. You begin to realize Daniel, Shadrach and Abednego, Daniel's star got shut down by who? By astrologers. Who are astrologers? Astrologers are stargazers. These are the people who can be able to read into your star, because your star is the DNA of your destiny. If somebody, they look at your star, they can read your star, they will know exactly what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are. And it's so important for you especially to understand your star. You need to know your star. Once you know what your star is, then you know what your calling is. Once you know what your star is, then you know what your destiny is. Once you know what your star is, you will know which area God has called you. Where can you prosper? Which place? You see, your star, when you know your star, it will direct you to the right location. Actually, star, remember, your prosperity, sometimes your prosperity, your success, your welfare, it could be geographical linked. It is your star. Your star will help you. Your star will help you for you to be able to locate where you are supposed to prosper, where you're supposed to set up your business. Your star will help you. Your star will help you to locate your calling, to know what you've been called to do. And you know one thing, once you discover what you've been called to do, guess what? Your success is guaranteed. But you see, you need to understand, just like Joseph, his son got shut down. It got shut down. Number one, his brothers shot his star down and they put it in the pit, and then they removed him from the pit and they sent his star to exile in Egypt. And when he got to Egypt, then his star begins to shine again. So you need to understand, sometimes up and down, there are ups and downs. But you know what happened when Joseph came out of prison? He never allowed a star to be shut down again. He understood, he knew that his star can be shut. There are many people. We're talking about people that today you could be a rising star, but your star got shut. When your star gets shut out of God, at the end of the day, your life just becomes nothing where that is concerned. Number five, your star can be forgotten. Your star can be forgotten. We know very well Joseph when he was into prison, and that's the reason why sometimes you wonder, I'm talking about you out there, you wonder, but you know one thing, Prophet, I'm always helping people, but when it comes to my time, nobody remembers me. This is a sign to let you know that your star has been forgotten. When your star is forgotten, it does not matter what good thing you have done to people, they will not remember. When your star is forgotten, at the end of the day, you begin to realize no more productivity in your life. You become barren. We are talking about you become barren where your life is concerned. At the end of the day, people are moving on with life. Anything that you touch, it begins to die. When your star is forgotten, you know one thing, no one will remember any single good deed that you have done. And sometimes you can become bitter, you can become so full of anger. You say, you know one thing, look what I did for so and so and so, and they have not even remembered you. No, don't get wrong. Sometimes we pick up fight with people for nothing. That has got nothing to do with them. That has to do with your star. Because if your star is forgotten, even people that matter to you, they will forget you. They will forget you. That's why you don't need to be angry with people right now. I know you have a need. Sometimes it can be so, you can feel so angry. You know you have a need, and you know somebody that you think that they know what you're going through. Actually, they know what you're going through, but they're not helping you. Yet they have the capability, maybe they have the finances, they have the power, they have the authority, maybe they have everything to help you, but they're just looking at you like this. Yet they're helping other people, but not you. And you get so angry, you get so frustrated, you get so vexed. While you're forgetting one thing here is, listen to me, this has got nothing to do with them. It's because your star has been forgotten. Your star has been forgotten, and once your star is forgotten, listen to me, seconds becomes minutes, minutes becomes hours, hours becomes days, days becomes weeks, weeks becomes years, and years becomes decades, and decades becomes centuries. And that is exactly what happened. Once your star is forgotten, at the end of the day, even people that you never thought they will forget you. And that's to do with your star. Even people that you have helped, people you have saved their life, people that you have been there for them, they will forget you. And sometimes people become so bitter and bitter and bitter and bitter, with a lot of unforgiveness, with a lot of things and whatever it is. And at the end of the day, you start getting depression, you start getting high blood pressure and all those things. And at the end of the day, you're on the phone, you're shouting, and all the time, talking about people, whatever it is. Imagine so and so, he does not remember me, they are not helping me, nobody is thinking about me, nobody wants anything to do with me, nobody is asking about me, nobody is calling me, nobody is bothered about my life, nobody is even trying to find out is anything has happened to me. No. You know one thing, your star has been forgotten. Your star has been forgotten. Your star has been forgotten. The Bible tells us that when Joseph was in prison, he helped two people, saved their life. Actually, one of them, he saved his career. He interpreted dream for them. He did favor to them, because remember, he was the head. He was the head prisoner there. But you know one thing, the Bible says that when the man came out and got his job back, the Bible says he forgot him. He forgot him. He forgot him, and he was left there. He forgot him and he was left there. And Joseph continued to rot into prison until the day when his star got remembered. Number 7, your star. Number 6, your star can be detained. Your star can be detained. When your star is detained, your life becomes standstill. Once your star, you are there maybe, and you feel as if right now you've not made any progress. No matter what you do, you always find yourself in the same position year after year, year after year. Is to be able to let you know that your star has been detained. Once your star is detained, guess what? Help will come, but it will never get to you. You can always see your miracle. You see your miracle there, but somebody else will take it. You get so close. You always get there, but never to get there. Why? Because your star has been detained. You see, when your star is detained, at the end of the day, there's always delay when it comes to payments for your finances. We're talking about salary. We're talking about your customers. They don't pay on time. Things that are supposed, suddenly somebody say, I brought you a present, I brought you this, but at the end of the day, you don't get it. Somehow, somewhere, you always, I'm talking about, if you're there, maybe you're always having issues, sometimes with them. With the police, we're talking about always being stopped. We're talking about maybe always right now being suspected, always being delayed, always you're ordering things that you don't get them, and sometimes you're always ordering things from the mail, you always get the wrong things are not fitting, and at the end of the day, you have to settle for things that are not working where your life is concerned. One thing, that is a sign to let you know that your star has been detained. You see, once your star is detained, at the end of the day, I've seen when your star is detained, you fast and pray but no answer. You fast and fast and fast. After 40 days of fasting, 30 days of fasting, whatever it is, you keep finding yourself in the same position. This is to let you know that your star has been detained. Your star has been detained. Number 7, your star can be paralyzed. When your star is paralyzed, when your star is paralyzed, people will just be passing you. I'm talking about everybody around you looks as if. And one of the things that you need to understand, especially if your star has been paralyzed, maybe you're there right now. Most of the time, we're talking about when your star is paralyzed, it happens that before you used to do well. There are people, maybe you're there right now, says, but you know what, in Prophet, I used to do very well. I used to succeed in this, but suddenly, in the prime time of your life, suddenly everything has just been paralyzed. We're talking about you are there right now, and we're talking about you find yourself with some infirmities, sickness and diseases that wants to limit your mobility. Suddenly you're not functioning like the way you used to do before. We're talking about where marriage is concerned, where relationship is concerned. You don't find things are not moving like the way they used to move before. Things are slowing down. At the end of the day, guess what? Because your star has been paralyzed. Your star has been paralyzed. Once your star is paralyzed, at the end of the day, you have to depend on people. You have to start depending on government. You have to depend on institution. Everything about your life, you're no longer making decisions for yourself. Something else has to take over. At the end of the day, you find yourself at the masses of people. You find yourself doing things that you never wanted to do. You find yourself going to places you never wanted to go. You find yourself at the end of the day settling for things at the end of the day that you never wanted to be. Why? Because your star has been paralyzed. You know one thing, I want you to know that all things are possible. Maybe you are there right now, and maybe you are there, and maybe your star has been covered. Maybe your star is missing. Maybe your star is in exile. Maybe your star is in the pit. Maybe your star right now maybe has been shut down. Maybe your star has been forgotten. Maybe your star has been detained. Maybe your star has been paralyzed. You know one thing, it's not yet over till God says it's over. And you know what? We can help you. I can be able to help you. God, we can get to the root of your problem. God has anointed me. God has given me solution. We can get to the root. I can be able to get to the root of your problem and cut it. Let me help you. Let me help you. Let me help you right now. Let me help you to get to uncover your star. Let me help you, to get your star back from where it was. The Bible tells us that the star of Jesus reappeared again, and the Bible says in the book of Matthew chapter 2 verse 10, the Bible says when they saw the star, the Bible says they were thrilled with the ecstatic joy. I know in my heart that God right now, I know in my heart, this is where my expertise is, and let me help you. Let me help you. This is my gift. This is my expertise. This is my expertise. I want to help you, and especially to get your star that has been shut down, because you're going to shine again. Not only that, I want also to be able to help you, to show you how to be able to sustain where your star is going. Maybe you're there right now, maybe your star has been detained, maybe your star has been paralyzed. You know one thing, I want to be able to help you, and this is what I want to be able to do. If you are really, really serious and you are there and say, you know one thing, man of God, I want you to help me to locate my star. Man of God, I want you to help me right now. I want my star to rise up again. I want my star to shine. I want to fulfill the plans and the purpose of God for where my life is concerned. You know one thing, then I want you to go ahead and I want you to book a call, and now let me be your mentor. Let me be, because remember, God will never schedule salvation without a savior. God will never schedule salvation without first of all scheduling a savior. God will never schedule deliverance without a deliverer. I want to help you. I want you to go ahead. I want you to go ahead and book a call with me. If you want me to be your deliverer, I believe with all my heart that God has scheduled me as a deliverer where your life is concerned. And I'll tell you one thing, we are going to get your star uncovered. I'm going to be able to help you to get your star wherever it has been missing. We are going to locate it. I want to help you to locate where your star is and cause it to come again. I'm going to help you wherever your star is in exile. It must come back. It has to come back. Let me help you. let me mentor you where that is concerned. And I want you to know all what you have to do right now. I just want you to go ahead right now, and I want you to book a call, and I want to book that call. We will be able to get back to you. I'll call you back, and then let me help you, let me guide you, let me as a prophet of God. This is where my expertise is. This is what God created me to do. God created me to help you. God created me as a prophet over the nations, to uproot, to remove, to destroy, and to plant. God will not do anything fast until he reveals to his prophet. And God has called me, and God has anointed me to help you. I'm talking about help you to locate your star, to help you to fulfill the plans and the purpose that which God has for you. God has called me to help you, to bring back your star from exile, to be able to make sure that your star has been released from that detention, so you can be able to fulfill the plans and the purpose of God for where your life is concerned. One thing, this is what I need you to do. I want you quickly to click the button that is there, and I want you to book a call. I want you to book a call with me, and I'm going to call you back, and I'm going to speak with you, and I'm going to help you to locate where your star is. I'm going to help you to uncover your star. I'm going to help you for your star to shine again. And one thing, if you are there and you're interested, I want you to book a call, and I will get back to you. So if you're there right now and you are interested, I want you to go ahead and book a call, and I will get back to you. One thing, it is so amazing to talk to you. It is so amazing to connect with you, and and I'm looking forward to talk to you again in one of our webinars again. Thank you so much, and God bless you. One thing that I know, that your life will never be the same again. One thing, child of God, I want you to let you know, child of God, when you see your star again, when you see your star, I see you're going to be your life is going to be full of excitement. You're going to be thrilled with ecstatic joy, because I know true happiness comes when you discover and fulfill the plan and the purpose of God for your life. Let me help you. So if you're interested, go ahead right now, book that call, and I'm going to get back to you. And I know your life will never be the same again. So if you're there right now and you are interested, I want you to go ahead right now and book that call, and let us get back to you, and let us help you to locate your star. Let us help you to get your star from the pit. Let us help you for you to be able to discover the plans and the purpose of God for your life. Let us help you to become wealthy, healthy, and wise. Let us help you especially to be able to discover the plans and the purpose of God for your life, so you can be wealthy, healthy, and wise. Really excited. It's an amazing thing to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to talk to you again. Thank you, and God bless.